Dr. Stokes, what do you make of the proposal to shift from a minimum wage to what Mark Golding described as a livable wage that would be tied to the cost of living? Is that feasible?
So one of the problems with studying economics, as I have, is that it removes the opportunity to dream and have rose-colored glasses. I think it's fairly predictable that if you move from a minimum wage to a livable wage, that could be a material increase, I think we may expect less employment because people simply can't afford to pay those wages. We may expect less profitability, especially for smaller companies, smaller, medium-sized companies that we are trying to develop at this stage as major employers in the country. On the plus side, more money in persons' pockets, more spending could be a fillip for the economy. But my suspicion now is that if you say to, for example, the security companies that instead of paying minimum wage, you have to add another 20, 30% on that, or any number of persons that hire large numbers of persons, it's going to compromise their profitability. And some may say, well, fine. But a logical outcome is a reduction in the number of people employed and reduction in employment opportunities. Now, we are nominally at full employment. That's another discussion that we can have. Just if you listen to Statin, but I would be extremely reluctant to pursue that. I think those who are able should, and I think the key is to have a competitive labor market so that people who can pay more will pay more, and folks will earn more and do it that way as opposed to by government fiat.
But the minimum wage was increased, I think, last year. It's been increased, and we haven't seen that drastic decline in employment. As a matter of fact, unemployment has gone down.
Right, and so raised a very important point. Now, if you move it from 1 to 110, you may not see anything. You may not see anything at 150. If you move it to 3, that may be the inflection point. And I'm just saying that we have to be careful when we do these things, because you do hit a point that is, what we refer to as an inflection point where it will make a difference. And you remember from the time of discussing the minimum wage that the argument was that many, many employers and individuals are actually already paying more than the minimum wage. All right. So it doesn't bite yet. It doesn't kick in yet until somebody now who used to pay twice the minimum wage and they're comfortable with that, but now you're saying you have to pay 3 times more, as an example. So there are those inflection points that you have to concern yourself about. But you should recall that at the time when the increase was raised, that many people said, "Look, I'm already paying my help or my security guard or whatever more than that already." So it did not have that inflection effect.